Okay, here's the music. Live in about a minute. I'm going to see if I get anyone in here for this. I know it's late. It's almost 2 a.m. I got to get to bed soon, so I'll let it get to the minute mark, and then we'll start. So if you're already in the chat, stick around. Don't go anywhere. But got about 25 seconds. Won't be going too long into this because I got to get up for work in about 3 hours. So all right, we got enough people. All right, welcome back to WMMA Now with your host, Chuck Stevenson, and welcome to the post-fight discussion for One Fight Night 14, One Championship Fight Night 14, the 14th card that they've had on Amazon Prime in the U.S. and Canada, headlined by title fight for the vacant atomweight championship between Stamp Fairtex and Sahi Ham, with an all-ladies main card, basically. I mean, they had like one men's fight after the introduction, but I think that was so that they could have a break, or they wouldn't have the first ladies fight immediately after the introduction. So let's get into it. So being that this is a WMMA Now is the name of my channel, I'm only going to be talking about the 4 ladies bouts on the main card. So if you're not sure, if this is what you're looking for, then that's fine. But we're going to get started. So first up, what, excuse me, sorry. I can go all night without coughing, but as soon as I go live, it starts. Anyway, the first bout we're going to discuss was the catchweight special rules striking bout between Seong Jin-nan and Wonder Girl. And let me see if they updated the stoppage times here on Tapology yet, because I don't have them memorized. They do. So Seong defeated Wonder Girl at 2:42 of the third round, and this is only a 3-round fight with 3 minutes each, so fairly close to the end of the bout. I'll be honest, if One Championship was trying to use this as an experiment to kind of break into boxing while going around all of the sanctioning bodies in boxing, this bout was not it. This bout was not it. It was not a good fight. It really wasn't. I'll be honest, both ladies displayed absolutely poor technique, too much just winging punches, which you expect from Seong. You would think Wonder Girl would throw a little bit better than that. Also, way too much ducking straight over. I mean, when these girls ducked under punches, they didn't just go right or left, No, they went straight over, which allowed both fighters to land on the back of the head because they were like kind of winging punches and almost throwing hammer fists. Wonder Girl kept complaining about it, which, excuse me, sorry, everyone. Sorry about that. Okay. Bad refereeing in this fight, which I think was Olivier Coste. Not my favorite referee by a long shot at all. And he wasn't a good ref for this fight. Kept allowing the fighters to like call their own breaks. Wonder Girl kept going, back of the head, and stopping the action. They had to restart. And then where were the uppercuts in this fight? If your opponent is bending straight over, teach them a lesson. As soon as they bend over, Boom, uppercut. Where were the uppercuts? Nowhere to be found. Neither of them seemed to know what an uppercut is. And Sion, allegedly, now, apparently there's records of this. I'd like to see it. Like years ago, Sion started as a boxer on the national team in China. Man, she must have been like fifth string alternate because for a supposed boxer, she's not a very good boxer. Like she's a good MMA brawler for sure. But for boxing, she mostly just throws 1-2s and some loopy hooks. She got the finish, but it wasn't pretty. Let me see if I can find a video of the stoppage. See if I can find one on Twitter. Yeah, there is one on Twitter. Let me stop this real quick. And let me know if you can see this. I'll maximize it. No sound. All right. See what I mean? The ducking over. Sion just threw like a couple hammer fists right there at her because they didn't say it was strictly boxing rules. They just said it was basically hands only. I'd like that body work that Sion's using, but here's the finishing sequence. Just tees off on her, stops, breaks it up, restarts. This is a long video. Hope I don't get copyright struck for this. Oh, too far. Too far. Too far. How did I miss that? All right, there we go. Starts teeing off. Oh, that was a stoppage. Okay. So there's the footage of the stoppage. Not clean at all. Not pretty at all. But she did get the job done. So I can't get too mad about it, right? Let me bring that back up. Poster back up real quick. Okay. Let's go to the chat. We got an active chat tonight. I like it. Zazakita, what this fight was discussing first? Well, you just saw that. We'll get to Haman in a minute. I'm upset with that special. Yeah, I'm upset with that fight. Missing weight and horrible stoppage. You know, you got to keep fighters active. If fighters aren't active, they're sitting around too much. They're not watching their weight. One championship is as much to blame as Seong is for that because they've sidelined her for a year. I mean, the fight with Angela Lee was her last fight, and that was literally a year ago. So I blame one as much as I blame Seong for that. Also, where is she training out of? Evolve MMA. Why did Wonder Girl not throw her uppercuts when her opponent was ducking constantly? Yeah, you can ask the same thing about Seong because that's what Wonder Girl was doing too. They were striking like it's Harada does, a judo practitioner who can't strike at all. Yeah, mostly just throwing big haymakers. That fight, both girls not even use proper boxing technique. I agree, 100%. Weight bullying, they should have added knees and elbows. Well, the point was to make it special rules. If they added knees and elbows, then it basically would have been Muay Thai. And the theory online, and I mentioned this, is that one championship was experimenting with a way to introduce boxing without it actually being boxing and without having to bring in the sanctioning bodies involved in boxing. Because years ago, and we're talking, this was like maybe 2015, one championship had one official boxing bout. It was a World Championship bout featuring, at the time, the champ was Srisaket Sor-Runvasai, a Thai boxer. And he was WBC champ, so I believe. So the WBC, the World Boxing Council, came in and controlled everything about that bout. They had to build the ring to WBC specifications. They had WBC judges, WBC referee. Everything had to be overseen by the sanctioning body, which was the World Boxing Council. And Chattery did not like that, did not want to have to do that again. He says, I'm not involving any sanctioning bodies over my fights again, basically. I mean, he never publicly said it, but it was well known that he didn't like that. So this was kind of their way of getting around that, is the theory. I mean, they even wore shoes, like wrestling shoes. So why would you wear wrestling shoes other than, trying to get special grip? But they didn't need them. It's not a boxing match, but they wore them. Zakita says she's only good for MMA brawler because she got a chin and power. Never impressed me before, and she doesn't impress me now. I mean, she's a good fighter, but yeah, she's primarily a brawler. We won't waste any more time. All right, so next up, and this is going to be real quick here. Submission Grappling Championship, and I'm not going to call this a world championship, sorry. Danielle Kelly defeats Jessica Khan by decision. As soon as the referee called catch for Kelly, I knew that was Kelly's win right away, because they didn't call catch on anything that Khan was doing. I mean, and to me, I thought Khan had more submission attempts and was going for it much more than Kelly was. I thought Kelly does a lot of stalling tactics and never gets called on it. But she does a lot of stalling in those matches, never gets called on it. But look, I knew from the get-go that unless Khan was going to win by submission, and by submission, I mean taking an arm and two legs out of the cage with her as trophies, they were not going to give her that title. I'm so over. I mean, I was never into one's grappling, and I'm even more over it than I was already. Oh, by the way, you saw how much Danielle Kelly struggled, right? The first time she faces a legit submission grappler, one who had already beaten her before. But yeah, the first time she's not facing an MMA fighter in a long time, and she really struggled. Raw Hobbies and Lifestyle says, I think the grappling rules need to change. The EBI rules will be much better. Yeah, I would agree. Zazakita says the rules need to be adjusted. And Raw Hobbies and Lifestyle says, this one grappling rule set a bit, not excitement. I would say, I don't know what the pay structure is. Like, I don't know if it's fight and then win bonus like a lot of MMA fights are. But their whole thing is like they don't want draws. I would make it automatically. You either submit or a draw. Period. And then watch people's records go to crap. And then they'll learn and they'll start going harder for the submissions. To me, but yeah, it's just boring. MMA fans and Muay Thai and kickboxing fans don't want to watch submission grappling. As Akita, one championship grappling division needs filling, not enough depth. They're not going to fill it. It will never get filled. And they got the best grapplers. At least in kickboxing, one is some of the best in the world. And Muay Thai too. Listen, their divisions are not going to get filled because much like Muay Thai fighters and stuff like that, grapplers want to stay active. They want to participate in tournaments. They want to participate in individual, matches, these special matches. They want to stay active. But One Championship wants to sign them all to exclusive contracts. And we've seen how many events One Championship has put on, not counting the Friday fights at Lumpini. We've seen they have majorly cut back on their events this year. So how active can you be? Are you going to get to be? Not very active. And that's why nobody wants to sign with them. That's why, and that's also why they encourage some of their grapplers, why they're constantly asking their grapplers, hey, are you ever going to try MMA? You ever going to try crossover, try MMA? Because they don't have anybody to grapple them. And that's why their grapplers are constantly calling out MMA fighters, because they have nobody to grapple with. Do the rules with EBI is most unbiased and fun to watch. You being passive, you're going to start with bad position first after time is up. I haven't watched EBI in a long time, so I'll have to give it a try again. For those who don't know, EBI is the Eddie Bravo Invitational, and you can watch them on UFC Fight Pass. Basically, one grappling roster is less than 5 person. Then they straight away made a title fight. Quite not convincing. Yeah, it's the same thing they did with kickbox, with all their. It's the same thing they do with almost all of their divisions. They start almost right away with title fights. The first women's kickboxing bout they had was a title fight. The first women's Muay Thai bout they ever had, if I remember correctly, was a title bout. Oh, we'll get into that in a little bit. With Muay Thai and kickboxing, One Championship has some of them on pound for pound list. I mean, they got Takaru and Tawanchai, yeah. But agreed, no good grapplers want to come over. Yeah, no grapplers want to sign exclusive contracts. They make too much money being active. Okay, so then we go to the co-main event here. Smilla Sundell versus Alicia Helen Rodriguez for the strawweight Muay Thai championship. One sec. I'm going to get something to drink. I'll be right back. I forgot to mute it. Crap. Sorry, y'all had to hear me coughing up a lung in the background there. Okay, Sundell versus Rodriguez. Man, this was a great fight. I mean, it was one-sided after the first round, and but man, it was a good fight, and it was all action. Rodriguez gave everything she had in the first round. She just kept striking her way into the clinch, and then once she got into the pocket, she just started unloading on Smilla Sundell. She did everything right, in my opinion, against someone when you're fighting against someone that had such a height and reach advantage against her. She was doing it right. And then Sundell cracked her with a left hook. And what was I going to say? Cracked her with a left hook and had her hurt at the end of the first round. And then she came out in the second round with something to prove and just went after Rodriguez and had her hurt again. And then in the third round, she kept going at her, and finally got the finish with 2 seconds left. The official time, 2:58, of round 3. Great finish for Sundell. I mean, and hey, Rodriguez showed that she is absolutely tough. Whew. But Sundell, man, when she's on you and she gets going, she gets going. I mean, she had to make some adjustments after the first round, but she really made those adjustments she needed to make and got it done. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the finish video here. Let me bring it back. All right. So we already see she kind of has her rocked. Big elbow, punch to the body, going top, bottom, up, top, boom. There's 2 big elbows. Is that 2 big elbows? Oop. Elbow, punch to the body, but the referee was already in there as the punch to the body lands. Look at that as a good finish. Man, that's a good finish. So congrats to Smilla Sundell. That was a phenomenal effort from her. Come on. What are you doing? All right, bring that back up. Full screen. Thank you. All right, let's go to the chats here. Colostrum in the chat. Who from 1 would you like to see in the UFC? I like seeing them in 1. There are people out there that want to see everybody in the UFC. I don't. I like the different rule sets. I like the different promotions. I like the different styles. I mean, it would be nice to see some crossovers, but UFC is not going to do crossovers. So the only way they do it, UFC is just as bad as 1 with those exclusive contracts. So, I mean, I'd rather just see the fighter stay in 1 then at that point. Size and cardio advantage was too much. Well, you know what? When you're constantly striking up and you've got a fighter who's taller than you and she's clinching on you and kind of like pulling you down almost, putting their weight on you, yeah, that's going to sap your cardio bad. Rodriguez almost got slept round 1. Yeah, I think had there been a few more seconds, Sundell might have done it in the first round. I would like to see Tang Kai defend his belt a couple times, then move over to the UFC. A shame he's injured. Yeah, that's a shame. Hopefully we get to see Lee Kai win in the UFC. He is in the tournament, I believe, for the road to UFC. I don't think that's done yet. Lee Kai Wen's exciting too. Kenneth Maderis, new person in the chat. Welcome, Kenneth. Says, I thought Alicia started well in the first, but after that shot from Smilla, the tide turned drastically. Yeah, it was almost as if, and I said this on Twitter, at now WMMA, at NOWWMMA on Twitter, that, excuse me, after that left hook landed, it was like Smilla found her confidence. And once she found her confidence, there was no stopping her. Because she was having a hard time getting going in the first round. I mean, she was landing, but Rodriguez was taking it to her in the first round. But after that left hook landed, Smilla was like, oh, I can actually hurt her. And decided that was going to be her goal from that point forward. Alicia is really good, but she should stay at atom weight. I mean, yeah, 10 pounds is a big weight difference. She will be fine. It takes a giant cardio machine to beat her, and there is no atom weight like that. Yeah. Who is? Oh, there's that one girl. She got signed from the Friday fights. Yodpet? No, not Yodpet. I think she's out of Fairtex Gym right now. I can't remember her name. I think she can beat Alicia because she's a finisher too, big finisher, big hitter. Also, if they ever sign Yu Yao Pui Not a technician like Rodriguez is, but I saw someone describe her, and I thought it fit, as Jessica Andrade on meth. Have to work Smilla's body, and Rodriguez was doing that too. She was working her body in the first round. Just she never got a chance for it to bear fruit. And then Smilla was working Rodriguez's body, as we saw in that clip. Who at strawweight will challenge Sundell? I don't think a rematch with Jackie is any different. Sundell may finish Jackie this time. In fact, your guess is as good as mine. Smilla may be tough to beat for a long time. She is young. Yeah, she's only 18. And she's been living on her own for like several years already. I can't imagine that. Stamp versus Lucinda. Who would you pick? Stamp. Easy. Lucinda's not that good. I don't know what people see in Lucinda, honestly. Maybe one's heavyweight and light heavyweight could do work as well. Malikan. Malikan's good, yeah. Yes, Petjija. She's a beast. Yeah, she has crazy power. And she's a technician, too. She's got that crazy power. Petjija. And I don't know if Yu Yao Pui could beat Alicia, but it would make for a fun fight because Yu Yao Pui just keeps coming forward. Which post? Oh, yeah. Okay, so here's a little bit of a sad part here. So before the main event, Angela Lee, the one atomweight champion, walked out to the cage, to the circle, holding her belt. She was crying all the way. She was crying backstage, cried all the way down. Mitch Chilson was interviewing her. She talked about fight story and talked about, how tough her year has been with the loss of Victoria by she mind. I got to watch how I say this live on YouTube. Victoria Lee decided to Minecraft herself the day after Christmas, and it has been tough for the Lee family ever since. They closed down their gym for a while. I believe it's open again. Angela hasn't trained at all, and what Mitch asked her, she said you were coming in to make a special announcement. So what is it? And she laid down the belt and announced her retirement from MMA. And there was one guy, he made a noise in the audience. It sounded, some people said it was booing. I thought it sounded like a no kind of thing, like just really disappointment. There were some other like sounds of shock and stuff too. But honestly, you could tell on the walkout that she was going to make the retirement announcement. Anything else would have been kind of silly at that point. So it was kind of obvious that she was going to make the retirement announcement. So it's the end of an era. Angela Lee is now retired. Listen, I've said some disparaging things about not so much Angela herself, more excuse me. I always disliked the marketing around Angela and her family. I thought they took these really young people and tried to make them into superstars, and they acted like they were better than they are. I mean, while Christian has definitely proven himself, I thought Angela was mostly given easier opponents, smaller opponents, and that's not on her. I will reiterate, that is not on her Her job was to go in there and fight. But it was, to me, it was always more about, one's uh, special star treatment of her. But hey, she was crucial to one championship for several years. I mean, someone pointed out on Twitter that there was a time when she headlined above Ben Askren, and Ben Askren was the most well-known fighter in one champion, or should have been the most well-known fighter in one championship at the time. He was certainly the best MMA fighter in one championship at that time. And they had Angela headlining over him. So she was big for their push, especially trying to gain that Singapore audience. And I don't know how effective that ever was. Um, uh, anyway, yeah, but I didn't dislike Angela. Although I didn't like her comments after her last fight against Theon, but I never disliked her personally. And it is going to be sad to see her go. Hey, first woman in MMA to get a twister submission. No one's ever going to take that from her. So good luck to you in your future, Angela. All right. Colostrum. How about Stamp versus Loopy? Probably I'd take Stamp. I don't know, because we don't know what size Stamp would be in size comparison to some of these strawweights in the UFC, because they cut some weight. Loopy has the grappling. She does. Maybe Stamp's still too green to make grappling. It's hard to say. Angela Lee had a good career. Survived that body shot by Stamp, which ain't easy at all, and won. Yeah, I sympathize. Angela was super close to her sister, and I think it's understandable to retire. Colostrum says at Zazagita, yeah, if Stamp improves her grappling, she could be top 15 in UFC. Read the comment on one live, or read the comment on one live. A lot say the F is this, or that say stop this drama and please go to main event. That's sad. Was that like on the live stream on YouTube? If so, that's really sad. That's disrespectful. Zazkita says, to be fair, the Lees have improved in skills than when they began. Well, yeah, definitely. Also, they help promote the organization, especially in the eastern side of the world, for sure. So then we go to the main event, which was now the undisputed atomweight title bout. Stamp Fairtex versus Sahi Ham. Man, I was on my feet pretty much the entire time. The only time I sat down was to type off a quick tweet on my tablet. But yeah, I was on my feet for this one. This is a good fight. Good back and forth action. Stamp was doing really well in the first round with the kicks to the body, but she also kept circling to the power hand side of Ham. And Ham did start to get some left hands going by the end of the first round, but I had Stamp ahead after the first round. Remember, it's MMA in one, so it's whole fight scoring. Second round, Stamp again went to the body with the kicks, but Ham started landing the left hand, and it looked like Stamp started to hurt Ham because she landed like several kicks in a row. But then Ham got a knockdown, landed that left, and got the knockdown, had the biggest moment of the fight up until that point, and got Stamp to the ground, and then got some good ground and pound in on the top. Now, Stamp did land an armbar like right at the end, but the time ran out. Some people are saying she almost got saved by the bell. Stamp said she got saved by the bell. I'm looking at the clip right now. It wasn't extended. I'll show a quick clip of the knockdown here. So here's a clip of the knockdown. Boom, hits with the left, knocks her down. Always in the guard. There it is again, knocks her down, hits her with that big left. People, like, that Ham is loading up on that left. Still can't see it coming until it gets there. I don't know what it is, but that's how it always goes. So then they go to the third round, and again, both are landing, both are doing good, and you could see Stamp had a big mouse over her right eye, and she was showing some damage. And then we get to at one point, Stamp found a really nice body kick. That hurt Ham to the gut, and then went ahead and followed it up. I'll go ahead and show you again. Let me see. You can't really see it too well from this clip, but try to get it here. Boom. Hits her with the gut. Hits her in the gut. You can see it hurt her. Ham starts backing up. Stamp misses the follow-up. Goes again. They clinch. There's a knee, and then boom. That punch right there. Watch how accurate this is. Boom. Same spot she hit her with the kick, too. And look at the face Ham is making right there. Hurt her bad. And follows up. Ham goes down. She was done. Stamp went to follow up, lands one punch. But listen, I don't like referee Olivier Coste, but this was a good call. Ham was done. You could see. She was covered up. She was hurt. She wasn't going to recover. And I was ready to call quick stoppage because I almost suspected a quick stoppage was going to come. But that was not a fast stoppage. I'll give Olivier Coste credit. That was a good stoppage. So, congrats to the winner. Stamp Fairtex via technical knockout. Official time, 1 minute, 4 seconds of the third round. She's your new champ at 25, 26 years old. Just turned 26 a few days ago. So congrats, Stamp Fairtex. And listen, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't gutted. I'm gutted. I wanted Ham to win so bad. I picked Stamp to win. I had her by decision. I didn't think she'd get the finish against Ham, and she surprised me. Man, Stamp is so deadly to the body. Angela Lee is lucky she survived. She basically ran across the cage after the body strike landed from Ham, and that's probably what saved Angela the most. And Ham tried to do it, but ran out of space because they were in the center of the cage. So Ham is now your champion, or Stamp is now your champion. So what's next? What's next for Stamp Fairtex? Who should her first defense be against? Some people are already saying she should go up and challenge Sion for the strawweight title. You don't want to do that right after capturing a title. But at the same time, who do you put up against her? That division basically languished all year. Languished. Much like a lot of one championships divisions. Listen, the same fighters have basically been getting fights the most throughout the year. And it wasn't really too many atom weights. I mean, she just beat Hom. Stamp was number 1 coming into this. Hom was ranked number 2. So, I mean, this was the fight to make. It was unavoidable. But now who do you book him? Who do you book Stamp up against? I mean, look at the rankings. Because they only go to 5. Let's see here. Wow, they already updated the website. So Stamp's at the champion. They have number 1 is vacant, which is dumb. Hom is number 2. Again, they should have just moved them all up and had number 5 be vacant. Denise Zambawanga is, I believe she's coming off a win. Over Gian Radzuan. That was a while ago. No. D nice. Denise, oh, okay. Denise is riding 2 straight wins. She beat Lin Hutchin in December of last year via split decision, and then won a decision against Julie Meza Barba this year, back in April. So she's only fought once this year, and Stamp's probably not going to fight again before the end of the year. It's already October or September 30th, about to be October. I mean, they could do Denise. What else? What other? Rasohina has not fought since the Grand Prix. Aliona Rasohina is at number 4. She hasn't fought. She's in a war-torn country, and she got pregnant and had a kid during the war. Or maybe that was before the war. I can't remember. Either way, who knows when she's going to fight again. Got Tiffany Teo at number 5, but they said she gained so much weight between the weigh-ins and her fight the day after. Again, that was against Ritu Phogat, that they might not let her fight again at atomweight. And she hasn't fought all year, I believe. Let's see, No Chill Tiffany Teo has not fought since she defeated Ritu Phogat September of last year. So the 29th. So yeah, it has officially been a year since Tiffany Teo fought. I don't know what they're going to do. This might be a point where Stamp said after winning the MMA championship, she wants to go get back the other 2 titles. It might not be a bad idea at this point. Let her go fight Alicia again in Muay Thai, or let her fight, who has the belt? Kickboxing. Oh, gosh, Janet Todd. Let her go fight Janet Todd for the kickboxing title or something. We know they'll just give her the title fight straight away. So, yeah, have her go fight for a title in a different discipline and use that time to have a number 1 contender fight to decide. That might be a good decision. As for Sahi Ham, this might have been the last time we see her fight. She was talking when she signed with ONE that this is the last leg of her career, that she was going for the title. And then she gets a title fight and gets stopped for the first time in, good Lord, how many years has it been? She has not been stopped since December of 2011. It was a corner stoppage against Ayaka Hamasaki. An actual stoppage during the fight. maybe Mega Megu. And that was in 2008. I mean, yeah, that's the first stoppage she has suffered in years. But she's 36 years old. Someone mentioned to me, might have been in a chat last night, or maybe it was in one of my video comments, that there's a training video of her recently. I haven't watched it. Maybe it was the one from her coach on her coach's channel. She was talking about asthma, like her asthma's getting worse, and the doctor told her, she's got to stop soon. We might not see Ham fight again, which I'll be honest, again, I'm gutted because I wanted to go to this event live, but I didn't realize how long the wait was to get a passport because I don't have a passport. And I asked, and they were like, it's like a 12-week waiting time right now because they're backed up. And I realized as soon as I asked, I was like, and they got the answer. I was like, oh, that's not enough time. So I missed out on my opportunity to go watch her fight for the title. And now I might not ever get to see her fight live. Never gotten to see her fight live. And I've been following her since 2007. So, and my favorite fighter. So she lost. I'm gutted. She might be retiring. I'm gutted because of that. Just all around sucky night, shitty night for me. Let's go to the chats. Let's see. Definitely not in her prime, but a great scalp for Stamp. Yeah, that's true. I mean, hasn't looked bad. But at 36 years old, it was always going to be a question of, well, she's going to start fading, right? I mean, she still looked good in this fight. She knocked Stamp down, got some good top control and ground, a little bit of ground and pound, not a whole lot. Came out very aggressive in the to start the third round, which I thought, like, she needed to do that a little bit. Was doing good, and then took a kick to the body that hurt her. Stamp's a body hunter. She's a body snatcher, is what she is. William, welcome to the chat, William. If you're still around. Kenneth says, Angie always seemed to be the face of the franchise, and it did grow under her reign. I think Stamp can be a good successor for once female fighters. I mean, I think she's already, I believe, a much bigger name than Angela Lee is. I mean, her social media presence is insane. And man, the simps go crazy for her. Dudes are horny for Stamp. There's no denying that. Dudes are horny for Stamp Fairtex. She's not my cup of tea, but dudes are definitely get horny for Stamp. Stamp probably got the most body shot knockouts in the MMA. Not many women fighters know how to use body shots. Yeah. It's about the precision. It's about timing. It's about knowing where to land. Ham is a crafty veteran. That left hand always landing. Yeah. That's the thing. She landed it tonight. Got the only like genuine knockdown of the fight, or got the first knockdown of the fight. And it's like, it's coming. So you try to prepare, but Stamp still kept going off to that side, and it paid off for Ham. 5 more seconds on the clock, and Stamp would have had that armbar. Debatable. I felt like Ham missed a big opportunity after knocking Stamp down. If the ground was supposed to be her advantage, I don't. Who says the ground was her advantage, though? Like, when has Ham ever been a ground fighter? Like, I don't understand that whole, Ham needs to go and get the takedown. Ham's a kickboxer. Then doing no damage there, real damage there, was a fail. Again, why were people saying that the ground is Ham's advantage? Because she's been fighting longer? She's not a ground fighter. Most of her groundwork consists of sprawl and brawl. She sprawls and tries to get back up. If she gets taken down, she's good at locking on a triangle when the fighters aren't aware of where they're at. But Stamp has more submission wins than Ham does. So I don't know why people are acting like, oh, Ham's the better ground fighter. I don't get it. William says vicious body shot. Yeah. Especially the punch. Like she already had her like wobbled with the kick, but she landed that punch to the body. Hurt her. So Zakita says perfect stoppage. Also, I think Ham didn't expect Stamp grappling to have improved that much. It's hard to say. Who would have thought Stamp could almost land an armbar on one of the atomweight goats? Every WMMA fighter goes for an armbar, so. Don't know who Stamp should fight. What atomweights are even worth of deserving. The rest of them are meh. All these atomweights are food for Stamp. Yeah, she's definitely the best fighter in one right now, hands down. Stamp versus Denise. Yeah. Denise and Harada can't strike, and Stamp already beat Radzawan. Yep. Beat her a year ago. Last year, September. Don't know if Stamp can beat Alicia. I think Alicia too good. Janet Todd is getting old. Maybe Stamp can beat her in a trilogy. Yeah, maybe. I mean, they're what? 1-1 now? Stamp's 0-1 against Alicia. Stamp already get out of here with that. But congrats to Stamp. 3 belts and 3 disciplines. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Those body shots tonight would have definitely put Angela down. Yeah, if she would have landed them more than one, for sure. Are you sure, Ham? No more fighting in one. I'm not sure. It's the presumption. Females hate getting hit in the body. All of them. Might as well make a woman body hunter like Stamp. Nobody likes getting hit in the body, William. Nobody likes taking body shots. You ever been hit in the liver or the kidney? It's not fun. Not trying to put you down or anything. I'm just trying to put that in context. Yeah, women don't like getting hit in the body, but neither do men. All right. So a big deal has been made about Stamp being this 3-sport champion. And I think I talked about this last night. But again, can we put this into a little bit of context here? I'm going to put this into some context here. Let me pull up her record real quick. Come on. Because I think Tapology has all of Stamp's one record here. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to pull up Stamp's record and put it on the screen. And I'm going to show you, we're going to put this into context. Because, yes, she has held belts in 3 different disciplines. But let's not pretend like every other fighter has the direct access to those titles the way that Stamp did. Okay? Nobody else was getting the special treatment that Stamp was. All right. Here is the beginning of Stamp's one championship career. So the first thing she does, she fights at One Warrior Series 2 in an MMA bout, wins via head kick 19 seconds of the first round against Rashi Shindi. That was a setup fight for her to win. Okay. Here's her second bout. Okay. Her first official fight in one championship was for the literal one championship kickboxing fight or title against the champ, Kai Ting Chuan. Kai Ting Chuan won the title in her one and only previous one championship bout against Yo Cherry Sit Yo Tong. So right away, Stamp makes her one championship debut, fights for the kickboxing title. And if you go back and watch this fight, they let her hold the clinch longer and land more knees than they would allow in their current Muay Thai rules. This is supposed to be a kickboxing bout, and they were letting Stamp treat it like a Muay Thai bout. The only thing she wasn't doing was throwing elbows. She was clinching, landing knee, and then dumping her opponent, which, by the way, they didn't allow in Muay Thai at the time. And they just kept warning her, and they never did anything about it other than say, no dumping. Don't hold the clinch so long. But they didn't actually stop her to break the clinch. Because they didn't want Kai Ting Chuan as their champion. They wanted Stamp as the champion. So, boom, she won the kickboxing title in her very first fight. Which, let me tell you something, it is much easier for a Muay Thai fighter to adjust to kickboxing than it is the other way around. All right. So then that was her first fight. Then look at her very next bout. Muay Thai. One. It says straw. Yeah, okay. Because it was 115 pounds. Inaugural Muay Thai championship against Janet Todd. So in her first two fights, she's fighting for two different titles. Now, granted, she had to win, but she was helped along the way to those titles. Okay? How many fighters make a debut in a promotion and their first two fights are for two different titles? I couldn't tell you anyone else. Could not tell you anyone else in the history of one, certainly in one championship, and because they have more cross training fighters than anywhere else. And they're like the only MMA promotion that does all these different disciplines like this as much as they do. So in her first two fights, they were championship bouts in two different disciplines. So then her next fight. Now, mind you, they signed her for MMA, but they decided they were going to have her build up the Muay Thai. So her next bout, title defense of the Muay Thai Championship against Alma Uniku. Okay, yeah, the real pretty girl, not the Barbie girl, but another real pretty girl. So she defends the Muay Thai title next. Okay, so all of 2019 is dedicated to Muay Thai and then MMA, because then she goes back to MMA for the next two fights. So all of 2018, wins the kickboxing title in 2018, doesn't defend it in 2019, goes back to MMA, beats Asha Roka, then B. Nguyen, and then Pooja Tomar, all in MMA. Goes back to kickboxing for the first time since 2018, loses the title to Janet Todd, loses the decision. Goes back to MMA, picks up a win against Sunisa Sreesan, who had no business being in a cage with or ring with Stamp. Goes back to Muay Thai. So now and this is all in 2020. So now she's bouncing back and forth between the disciplines now. She's not staying focused on one. So she's splitting her time up too much. Loses the Muay Thai title to Alicia Rodriguez. And then she loses her first MMA bout, or loses for the first time in MMA against Aliona Rasohina, which they then rematch at the start of the Grand Prix. Wins the Grand Prix. Half the fighters drop out, get replaced. Wins the Grand Prix, beats Ritu Fogat to win it. Faces Angela Lee for the atomweight championship in MMA. Loses that. Now, she earned her shot at that. Wasn't quite the way that everyone wanted her to get there because of all the dropouts in the Grand Prix, but she did earn her shot at the title. But then what happens next? She wins 2 fights against Gina Radzuan and Elise Anderson. And because Angela and all her stuff happens, she gets another shot at the MMA title. So, yes, she has had titles now in 3 disciplines. But, I mean, come on. She went from atomweight kickboxing championship bout to then the inaugural Muay Thai bout in 2 fights. How many fighters get that much help like that? No one else in one. That's for sure. No more chats. All right, so we're going to get ready to close up here. Because it is almost 3 o'clock, which means I have if I hurry up and get to sleep, I can get 2 hours. All right, so any other questions, comments, gripes, complaints, compliments in the chat? Oh, this is a good question from Kenneth Medeiros. On a side note, since you cover female fighters, do you think one messed up with Anissa Mexen? What happened there? Yes, they messed up with Anissa Mexen. They mistreated her, and I believe they mistreated Ham as well. Same thing. They signed these champions from outside promotions that are like the number one in their weight class, in their discipline, widely recognized as the best. Why? Because one wants to say that they have all the best. But they don't really want these outside fighters to be the best. Because if these outside fighters come in and beat their fighters, then one championship doesn't really have the best fighters, do they? They want their homegrown fighters to be the best. They want the Angela Lees. They want the Stamp Fair Texas. They want the Denise Zamboangas. They want the Tiffany Teos. They really didn't want. I mean, they kind of want to see Ong Jing Nan. And she's listen. She has done exactly what they asked of her. She's never complained, as far as I know. But they've never appreciated her either, because she made her name. Like, she was already a known commodity from outside one championship. They never appreciated Ham. They signed her immediately in 2020, at the beginning of 2020. And granted, COVID happened. But they were never, they sidelined her for so long. She's already in her 30s. And you're sidelining a fighter in her 30s. If anybody, any fighter, had an argument to come in and fight for a title in one championship right away in the ladies divisions, and we'll keep it in the ladies divisions, it was Sahi Ham and Anissa Mexen. Anissa Mexen was widely recognized as the number one kickboxer in the world at her weight class, which is 115 pounds. Had beaten Tiffany Van Soos multiple times, and nobody in the one women's kickboxing belt is just a trinket that they don't even care about. All she wanted was a shot at the title being held by Janet Todd. And Janet Todd was being inactive and not doing anything. And that's what Anissa wanted. And I swear, the one championship shills, not only the ones that work for them, but the ones that don't work for one, but benefit most highly for one. I'm not going to name them. But if you follow one closely and follow the media that covers one, you're going to know who I mean. They basically crapped all over Mexen, saying, oh, well, she's just a belt hunter. She won the belt. No, she is a champion fighter who wants to fight in championship fights. and they tried to get her to fight in that stupid mixed rules bout. She really didn't want that with Stamp. They basically tried to get her to do everything except what she wanted was fight for the kickboxing championship. She didn't want to fight Muay Thai. She didn't want to fight in a mixed rules bout. She wanted to be a kickboxing champion because that's what she is. She's a kickboxing champion. And they dicked her over, and she got fed up with it and says, I'm out. Tried to sign. Then she got mad. She got so mad that she tried to sign with Aries FC, the French MMA promotion. Was going to make her MMA debut. Aries talked about it, and then one pulled the plug on it. They're like, no, she's still under our contract. Same thing they just did to So-Yul Kim, who got signed to the UFC and then won championship, was like, no, we still have rights to her. And if she fights, we're going to sue. One championship is just as petty as the UFC about that stuff. So yeah, they dicked Nissa Mexen over probably worse than they did Ham. Because Ham isn't really complaining. Not that we know of. She's quiet, you know? And I think that's another thing about that worked against Ham's favor in one championship. She's not a super outgoing person who's constantly on social media. She's not dancing on TikTok in the gym. When she's in the gym, you won't even see videos on her social media of her in the MMA gym because she's focused on training. You might see videos of her lifting weights or right after she gets done lifting weights, but that's it. Because she's not a super outgoing person who's going to go, woo, look at me, I'm a dancer, I'm Stamp Vertex. That's why they like Stamp. Stamp puts herself out there. Ham doesn't. But you know what? Ham's accomplishments more than speak for themselves. She was the Jules champion, Road FC champion. She had multiple title defenses at Road FC, and then became the Rising Super Atomweight champ. Beat Ayaka Hamasaki, who at the time was the consensus #1 atomweight in the world. And I'm not talking 115-pound atomweight. I'm talking atomweight. And then they came in and they basically dicked her around too. Wasted, the last 3.5 years, almost 4 years of her career. She's fought 4 times since the start of 2020. And it's almost 2024. And now she's 36.5 years old. She's on the downslide of her career. She wasn't on the downside of her career. Now you can kind of say that she is going to be on it, because what is she going to do now? Just fight a bunch of contenders trying to make a name off of her? I mean, she could make the money, and she probably beats just about everybody else in one championship, but why? So yes, one championship did both Anissa and Ham dirty. But I would say Anissa was worse, because they kept trying to make her do stuff that she wasn't there to do. Thank you, Kenneth, for watching. All right, so people are starting to dip out. Thank you to everyone who watched this. I tried to go live for the fights, but my computer was having issues. I think it was internet connection issues. There was thunderstorm warning. Maybe that's why. So I had to stop that stream early. I'm not going to try to go live. That's what I did. So thank you for everyone for tuning in to this, the One Fight Night 14 aftermath report, as it were. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up, because I want to try to get those more views on the replay. And even if you just hit it now at the end of the show, which you should have been hitting it before, but still hit it now if you haven't yet, and it will help draw some people into the replays. If you are watching the replay, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And while you're at it, if you haven't yet, hey, What are you waiting for? Subscribe to WMMAC now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Stay tuned for fight review for Stamp versus Ham tomorrow. I'm definitely doing this one. It's a Ham fight. I'm not missing a Ham fight review. I know I've been lazy on fight reviews for a while now, but I'm not missing a Ham one. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. Now, we'll see you next time.